This is the Xiaomi 14 Ultra 6 months later. This is top of the line in terms of specs, both for the camera and the hardware inside of it. This smartphone runs on the Android 14 with HyperOS on top of it, which makes it a really smooth experience, especially if you're coming from a different Xiaomi phone. It is incredible for daily usage. The Xiaomi 14 Ultra works on the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which is a top of the line chipset for Android smartphone. Thanks to this chip, this smartphone can be used for gaming at top of the level, and also because of the screen that it's paired with, you have nice high refresh rates for that gaming, so it's a beautiful combo for usability. So for everyday tasks with the chipset and the screen, it's just a so smooth ride. But also because this is such a powerful smartphone, I feel like it runs a little bit hotter than I'm used to, especially coming from my daily driver, which used to be the Xiaomi 13T Pro. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been using this as my daily driver, and at first it felt a little bit hotter than that phone, but after some time, giving it a little bit time to adjust, it seems to be running much better. But overall, I would say it runs a little bit hotter because it's a little bit more of a powerful chip. And thanks to this chipset, you can play all the modern games in a very high quality settings, pretty much the best you can get on Android, with the best quality in terms of performance, quality in terms of looks, and also frame rate. In terms of the front, which is the amazing AMOLED display, it can go up to 120 Hz and is an LTPO AMOLED display, meaning that it can go from 1 Hz all the way to 120 depending on your needs. So if you're just scrolling through social media or maybe reading something, it's gonna go as low as 1 Hz, saving energy for your usage. But if you're gaming, you can go up to 120 Hz so that you have that competitive advantage. It just makes the phone so responsive, so quick, and also because it's an AMOLED, the colors are incredible. They're really rich and the contrast is definitely there. So the AMOLED display is definitely one of the standout features from the front. Better yet, it actually has a bigger resolution than normal smartphones, so it's more like a 4K display. It's much upgraded to a normal Full HD display, meaning that it just looks much sharper and overall a little bit more crisper than a normal smartphone display. Also under the screen, we have a fingerprint sensor, which is super fast and reliable. And one standout feature of this phone in terms of like the usability, I have to say that I really love these speakers on it. It's a stereo speaker because you have the one on the bottom and on the top, and instead of using the one where you have for talking, they actually built another one on the top, meaning that now you have two proper speakers on both sides. And they're incredible. The sound from this phone is really incredible for a smartphone. The only caveat I would say is when gaming, you're gonna always cover one of them. If you're holding it like this, you're gonna cover one of those speakers, so you have to play around with how you hold this phone. But other than that, the speakers are incredible, and paired with an amazing screen, it is an amazing phone for media consumption and overall like everyday usability. Also, the build quality is top notch with the aluminum frame and the vegan leather on the back. In terms of charging and the battery in this phone, it is a 5000 milliamp hour battery. If you have the Chinese version like I do from Trading Shenzhen, if you want to check out their website, check out, it's gonna be linked down below. It actually has more capacity with 5300 milliamp hour battery. So depending on your region, it's gonna be 5000 or 5300, but usually it's gonna be about 5000 with a 90 watt charging capabilities. And you actually get the charger in the box, which is really cool from Xiaomi. And you also get a case for the phone. It is able to charge it in 90 watts, meaning that you charge it in over a little bit more than 30 minutes, all the way to 100%, which is incredible for a smartphone like this, of this power. But also you have 80 watt wireless charging. So if you have a wireless charger and you can get one that has up to 80 watt charging, you can actually use it with this phone. And thanks to this, you can really quickly charge it wirelessly too. So if you have that, it's really cool. But other than that, you already have the charger in the box that is 90 watt. It is incredibly fast, but being that I used the Xiaomi 13T Pro for the last year since the release of that phone, which has 120 watts charging, I wish this was 120 watts too. I guess they didn't have the capacity having that wireless charging, and also I just guess there was no space to really push that 120 watts in this smartphone, because that would be really cool. And I kind of wish, because this is like the top of the top in terms of Xiaomi, while the a little bit more budget-friendly Xiaomi 13T Pro has 120 watts. So it's a little bit trade-off, and I'm used to being a little bit faster, but I guess compared to competition in the premium range, this is definitely much faster than something like a Samsung phone or an iPhone. And something else prepared from Xiaomi 13T Pro is that on the Xiaomi's phone, you have to give them a couple of days to really adjust to your usage. And in terms of this phone, I was really surprised how bad the battery was at the first and second day when I was setting it up. But after using it for a couple of weeks at this point, it works just as fine as I would expect it. Maybe it's not the longest battery life in terms of screen on time and just usability, but it can easily go throughout the whole day. And here on Gran Canaria on our adventure, I've been using it as my daily driver. I've been taking a lot of photos and videos, which are pretty power intensive in terms of this phone, and I was easily able to get it through the whole day. So it's not a problem. You just have to give it a little bit of time to really adjust to your usage, and that battery is more than enough for a day of use. So probably the most fun and most important part about this smartphone, the cameras, the photos, the video aspect of this phone. This has an incredible 4-camera setup on the back, and the camera bump is slightly taller and bigger than normally I'm used to, but it's a trade-off because we have a 1-inch sensor on the main camera, as well as 3 other lenses are paired with an incredible flagship level Sony sensors. So it's really consistent throughout all of the different sensors. You can really quickly swap from wide angle to ultra wide angle to a telephoto and periscope lens, and all of them are going to provide amazing results because all of them use a flagship level of sensors. No longer you have the main sensor being incredible and then the other ones not as good. Here all the sensors are really good, and because most of them are the same other than the main sensor, they provide the same kind of quality, just different lenses and focal length. And also the main sensor is so good that it actually is a 1-inch sensor. When you take a photo of something that is about a hand away, you're gonna get a really nice background blur. Essentially, the photos from this are gonna be a little bit more like a camera and not like a smartphone. And all of these sensors are 50 megapixels. So it's really nice that all of them are the same kind of sensor and everything just seems so similar. There's no difference between the cameras. All of these provide a great dynamic range. Also, there's a nice zoom from wide angle lens all the way to a 30 times digital zoom with AI capabilities to make it look so much better. But overall, we have from a ultra wide all the way to ×5 periscope lens. And this phone has incredible portrait mode. I don't know what they did. I'm guessing there is a LiDAR sensor here, and I've heard a rumor there might be, but overall, it just seems so perfect for photos. The portrait mode is incredible. Whatever they did is just so good. It really makes it really good for portraits and in different focal lengths, but also there is 2 different modes for photos, the Leica Authentic and the Leica Vibrant. In the Xiaomi 13T Pro, I used the Leica Authentic. I just felt like it was a little bit more my style, but on this smartphone, I'm leaning more towards the Vibrant, and Authentic more for the indoor shots where the saturation I wanted to be a little bit more toned down. But other than that, I feel like the Vibrant just feels a little bit better outdoors, a little bit more, eye-pleasing and maybe more for social media, while the Authentic adds in a little bit of vignette and also is a little bit more toned down. So it's depending on your style. Whatever you like, there's different styles for you, but overall both of them are incredible and you can play around with them depending on the situation, how you want the photo to look like. Also, the macro capabilities of this phone are unrivaled. It uses the 75mm lens, so the macro photography looks like as if it was taken with a proper lens and a proper camera, and not using the wide angle lens for the macro. So this camera setup is so versatile, it's incredible for photos, and I'm gonna be honest, a lot of times the photos from this don't look like a smartphone photo, they look like a camera photo. So it's really cool if you like that kind of stuff and you want to have really good quality from your smartphone. So the selfie camera on the smartphone is pretty good too. It's a 32 megapixel sensor, and finally on the Xiaomi phone you can record in 4K 60 frames per second on the selfie camera. In terms of the video capabilities of this smartphone, you can record up to 4K 120 frames per second and 8K 30 frames per second. But what is more important to me is the consistency from all of these sensors. Essentially, I can record in 4K 60 frames per second on all of them. And because of that, I can seamlessly switch from shooting wide to ultra wide to telephoto in a single clip. No longer you have to start recording, stop recording, change the lens, and then record again. And I love this because I can on the fly, when I'm out there on an adventure, I can on the fly change between the lenses, show an ultra wide angle lens, and then go to a really close up on the periscope lens and show you something that is really far away, which is really cool for social media and other kind of things where I want to show something, maybe for a vlog, for a video, depending on your usage. That is really cool that you can seamlessly do it. Also, in terms of video, you can actually record up to 4K 60 frames per second in the log format if you want to play around with the colors, but that is only on the main camera sensor. Also, you have the Pro mode, which is really cool because you can set up everything you want it. So like aperture, because of the main camera sensor that has the aperture, and also you can play around with shutter speeds and all those different things. Other than that, you also have the master cinema mode, and also you have that movie mode where you can have that background blur that is made by digital software inside of it, but it's only in 30 frames per second. This phone is from Charing, Shenzhen. It is a Chinese model, but it works perfectly fine for me. After all the setup, it works as it should, other than the Android Auto and the Google Maps timeline. So if you're interested in this phone in this version and you want to save a little bit of money, or your country doesn't have Xiaomi phones natively, check out the link down below for Charing Shenzhen. So with that being said, Xiaomi 14 Ultra 6 months later is still an incredible smartphone, especially if you're into photography and videography. It is incredible with top of the line specs, and overall screen, usability, speakers, everything is top of the line. So if you're interested in Xiaomi 14 Ultra, I can highly recommend you this phone. With that being said, that is going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video once again, and I'll see you next time.